Hi, this is Mark with JTech. This evening, what we're doing today is we're going to turn around and we're going to load test the battery to make sure that we're good at the cold cranking amps. We're going to do a starter draw test as well as a alternator output test. And the first thing we're going to do is pull a fuse on the electronic control module so that we can in fact disable the fuel system from operating. And this will help us to get our starter draw test to begin with. So I've already went through the effort of pulling the fuse, and it's a 10 amp fuse that comes out of the external fuse box here. And I'm going to put it up here, and I'm going to go ahead and take my amp clamp. I'm going to turn around and zero it to make sure we're good on the meter. And what we're using here is a battery electric systems test meter. And what it does is to test the electric system as we would like to see it. And will give us an idea of how our electrical system, charging system is doing. So I'm putting the clamp on first, and then I'm going to go ahead and have my assistant turn around and crank the engine over so I can get my starter draw test first. So as he's turning it over, you'll notice the numbers are changed and give me an idea. All right, thank you. All right, the starter draw test showed 129 amps. 129 amps may be a little more than this starter should draw, so it could be the starter in question's got a lot of miles and perhaps is dirty or just simply needs to be replaced. But at this time, it's still operating appropriately, so we'll leave it at that. Okay, my next test is going to be the battery load test. The battery load test, again, I take my amp probe, I put it on the positive cable of the test machine, and what I'm going to do is put a load on the battery, and this load will in fact tell me how good the battery is and the condition of it. So it appears as though our cold cranking amps are 475 cold cranking amps, so I'm going to put a load on this of about half the cold cranking amps. That way it doesn't take too long to get there, and I'm going to read the amount of voltage that we have at the battery at half cold cranking amps, which is going to be 260 to 270. So as you stand by and watch, I'm going to go ahead and put this up to about 270, and we should stay somewhere in the neighborhood of 9.7, and we are roughly 7.5. So our battery does not test quite as good as it should. So it's telling me that the battery can probably use a good charging and then a retest. If the retest does not prove to be satisfactory, then the battery probably needs to be replaced. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to roll over to our alternator output test. The alternator output test will again involve putting the fuse back in so the car will start, and it'll allow us to check what the amperage of the output of the amperage is on the alternator with a half load on the battery. Okay, and again that half a load is going to turn around and be about 270 amps. So what we're going to do is go ahead and have my assistant start the car in a moment and let it come down and idle, and then we're going to take it up and we're going to see how it operates. Okay, if you go ahead and start for me. All right. Let it come down to an idle real quick, let it smooth out, and then I'm going to have you go ahead and test it. I'm going to bring it up to half full cranking amps, and I'm going to bring it down to 12.6 volts, and we'll see what we have for the amperage readout. Okay? I would have put down about 57 amps. So as it stands, the alternator is capable of putting out, or is rated at 90 amps. We only had 57 amps out of it with the load on the battery, or with the load on the alternator. So it shows that the alternator may be in question as far as being able to produce enough power to charge the battery and run the electrical system in the car. So we have several things that are in variation here. First thing we need to start with is the battery, and then we'll go back, load test the battery, and what I do then is turn around and I would again load test the alternator and see what it come up to. But as it stands right now, the alternator is suspect, and it may very well need to be replaced. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.